Smackdown review for the November 8th episode of Smackdown. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers. Talk about some wrestling, huh?
Yeah, we'll get right into it. Opening Bloodline, ending Bloodline stuff. There for a while, though, with this Smackdown, I was like, it kind of felt like it kind of dragged on there for a little bit in like the early-ish kind of after Bloodline stuff, but we'll get into it.
We'll get right into it. So like he said, Roman Reigns would start the show. Mr. Roman Reigns obviously pissed off about Crown Jewel last weekend. Mr. Sami Zayn kicking him in the mouth. Solo Sikoa pinning him. A lot of stuff that he needs to get off his mind. Well, he gets into that. Well, we'll shout out his shirt on the way out. He's wearing his OTC shirt, but it says Yeet on it as well. Mm-hmm. So he's giving Jay some absolute love there. But he comes on out, and as he's putting the mic to his mouth, Jay Uso's music hits. That man, he's starting to annoy Roman a little bit. And Roman's got that annoyance in his face, like, God damn it, I just made my 15-minute entrance. Now we got to wait for your 15-minute entrance.
Yeah, back to the Bloodline long segments, you know? Yeah. We missed them.
Jay comes in the ring. He goes, look, man, there is a misunderstanding right now. Please, just hear him out for me. And when he says that, Sami Zayn's music hits. Because obviously on Monday, they talked about how it's all a big misunderstanding. Come see the Tribal Chief on Friday. So Sami comes out. Roman's obviously not happy. Crowd's chanting Sami Uso. All hell's breaking loose here. Sami goes, he comes all the way to the ring. He takes a mic and he says a lot of stuff. And I wrote it all down. So per usual, I'll be looking at my sheet. All right. He goes, look, Roman, first, I want you to know that the kick at Crown Jewel was not on purpose. He goes, I was only there for Jay. I would love to say that I'm here tonight for Jay as well, but that's not true. He said, I've been thinking about being in the ring again with you. And at Crown, just for a minute, it was special. It reminded me of all those old times that we had together, all those old family times. He goes, there's part of me that has a soft spot for all of that. And he goes, I think we all feel that. Jimmy feels it. Jay feels it. And I know you are. And he starts messing with Roman. He says, I can see it in the corner of your mouth. You smirked. And he was trying to get Roman to break. And he goes, You're listening to me now because you want this back. He goes, the opposite of love is indifference. You are not indifferent to me. I think you love me. And at this point, Jimmy and Jay are both cracked. Uh-huh. I mean, Jimmy, you could tell, is supposed to be like in the middle, and he's trying to hold his lips really hard together to not smile, but he's smiling because Sami just is so good at this role. He goes, you're smirking. I see it. He goes, think about the times, the parties, everything. You want all that back. And he goes, I will put the ball in your court. If you want me to leave, I will do that. But that's not what you want. If you want me to stay, if you want that, I'll do it. I just need one thing from you. Apologize. Crowd goes crazy. Everybody goes crazy. Because I was sitting there like, why is Sami coming back at this point? You know what? Roman does not apologize to a single soul. It's literally what I was about to write down. Until Roman goes, you want me to apologize? To you? And Sami goes, no, not to me, to Jay. And this is when the crowd's like, oh, and Jay's not even making eye contact. Like, he's like, uh-oh. I didn't want to say that.
He's like, I didn't want to say that. I didn't know this was happening.
Yeah.
It was like an awkward spot. You know?
Roman would walk over to Jay and basically get in his ear, and he would go, Jay, I'm sorry. And the whole crowd, oh my God, yay, times are good here. He apologized. Until Roman said, I'm sorry I ever let you waste my time with this fool. And he points to Sami Zayn. Sami walks away. He goes, he's not family. He ain't an oos. He ain't an honorary oos. He's nothing. He goes, this ain't about him. It's about Solo. And then he screams. He's like, Solo, bring your ass out here. And Sami, he's already halfway up the ramp. You can tell Jay's pissed. Jimmy's like, uh-oh. And as Sami's walking up to the ramp, all of a sudden on the screen, Jacob Fatu. I mean, he's got his hands and he's talking. He's cutting a promo on Roman Reigns. And he says, he says, it's Solo. You ain't the tribal chief. Solo is the tribal chief. He goes, you just go back to this is what happens when everybody loses to Solo. You just go to the back of the line. He doesn't listen to you. He'll come out when he wants to later. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to acknowledge him. And then that was that. And that was this whole segment until right afterward commercial break. We'll include this. But they come back and Roman's pissed walking through the back. Jay grabs his arm and tries to stop him. And he's like, man, I asked you to just hear this man out. You couldn't even do that for me? And Roman's like, why do you even care about him? He means nothing. He's snapping at Jay. And Jay snaps back and he's like, no. You don't talk to me like that. He goes, we're equals here. That's what I told you. This is your one pass. He walks away. Jimmy tries to step in, and he's basically like, man, why are you treating Uce like that? And Roman replies to him, and he's like, oh, so now you're talking to me like that. Why don't you just go find your brother? And then he walks off. So bloodline tension building. Roman Reigns is just too big of an ego to put aside right now. This whole thing was great. Pops.
Yeah. I mean, we knew when these four were getting in the ring, when Jay was like, hey, come meet us at SmackDown. Let's talk it all out. You knew this was going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
The stuff from Roman, the stuff from Jay, like Sami said, like it felt like old times again. You got Sami trying to make everybody break character. Sami's playing that role. And, you know, admittedly, we had our issues with Sami Zayn there for a while when he's on his own. But when he's in this role, it just feels so perfect, right? It just feels so good.
It's so much better than when he's on his own trying to be a champion, cutting the same I'm the champion promo week to week. It's like the second he got back in that ring and started shooting it back and forth, I was like, yep, let the good times roll. This is awesome. Sami Zayn's back. I'm cheering for Sami Zayn. I don't cheer for Sami Zayn, but I do here.
Yeah. And then, you know, the tension with Roman Reigns, you get it where, you know, Jay's like, that's your one time to talk to me like that. So that makes you wonder, like, if he talks to him like that again, Roman slips up and reverts back to his old ways and talks to Jay like that again, what's going to happen? Yeah. It seems like everybody, Jay, Jimmy, and Sami, they're all three together. Like, let's do this together. And you've got the one outsider. As you see kind of throughout the night, they show different stuff throughout the night of Roman just sitting by himself. And so now you've got Roman on the outside kind of looking into his own bloodline. And it really just makes you wonder, like, is he going to be able to put that ego aside?
Yeah, I don't know if he can put the ego aside. I mean, he is the tribal chief. He's the man. That's the whole point. That's what he made his last 4 years off of. He's the highest paid guy. He's the big dog. He's everything. He's the WrestleMania main event. And now he's having to answer to other people. Other people are making crowds acknowledge him. I mean, come on, it's crazy. But there's a lot more good, juicy bloodline stuff to come, so we can't get fully into that just yet. So let's move it on. We would get a match between Bayley and Candice LeRae. Little one-on-one action here. Back and forth to start. This is a very simple match with a bunch of commercials in the middle. But Candice LeRae would hit a neck breaker like through the ropes on Bayley, and then she would take her to the outside and kind of just work her on the outside. We get a picture-in-picture commercial break where Candice basically destroyed her the entire time. But there was a point where Candice would send Bayley into the ring post and then do a top rope missile drop kick. Everybody's got a missile drop kick now.
It wasn't as good as Zoe Starks.
No, not as good as Zoe Starks.
Not as good.
But Bayley would just immediately pop up from that. She'd almost no-sell it. She'd start making a comeback with clotheslines, elbows, all the good stuff. Bayley would go to the top rope to go for her elbow drop when Candice LeRae would roll out of the ring. And Bayley would chase her out of the ring. And they would roll into the ring, and Candice LeRae would fake a knee injury. Or she'd go, my knee. And it's the middle of a wrestling match, but the ref was like, at the Peter Griffin. It's the middle of a wrestling match, but the ref's like, no, she's hurt. You can't attack her right now. And I was like, what? But so the ref's stopping Bayley, and Bayley's kind of turning around, like looking at the crowd, like, what is she trying to do? What is this nonsense? And while she's talking to the crowd, Candice LeRae rolls over, tries to roll up Bayley for a roll-up pin. Bayley sits on it. 1, 2, 3. Bayley gets the win here. These two can go. They're awesome. This wasn't it. I don't like that at all. I like Bayley got barely any offense in. Candice LeRae's offense was mostly stifled by like commercial break, which isn't her fault, I know, but the end spot with the whole faking a knee injury thing, not interesting to me. These two can put on much better matches than this. I'm not giving this a pass. I'm dropping it.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping you'd pop it so that I could drop it.
Nope.
I'm dropping this as well. It especially to start off the night. Yeah. I feel like there just wasn't enough oomph into it.
Yeah.
If it was maybe sandwiched in with some stuff, some other matches, maybe it's fine. But the first match in the night to have this weird, like, oh, I'm hurt, but then I'm not hurt. I'm going to get the pin. Like, and I get Candice LeRae's done that before. I understand that. So like I get the story of the match and how they were wanting to do it. It still just didn't work for me.
No.
We still have kind of failed a little bit, in my opinion, since Bayley has dropped that title. She hasn't, in my opinion, at least really kind of established herself again. And Candice LeRae is now on her own, obviously, with the Indy Hartwell stuff. I kind of want her to kind of be established. Like, I feel like both of them kind of needed something, and we kind of just were like, well, here you go.
I mean, in terms of the match quality needing something, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
This didn't help at all.
Right, that's what I mean.
Candice LeRae does have some stuff happening a little bit later. But we'll move on. We get a backstage segment with the Motor City Machine Guns. They're back there in DIY, specifically Gargano. He's back there congratulating them because Gargano has been watching them for 20 years and all that good stuff. Motor City Machine Guns, they walk away and Ciampa shows up. And he's like, what the hell are you doing? These are they're the champs. That's our target. What are you doing? And they get into a little argument there. Ciampa walks off, but we see Randy Orton storming. He's smoke coming out of his ears. He's storming to the ring. He's real mad. We go to commercial break. We come back, and Randy Orton's still mad standing in that ring. And
he must have smoked like 70 cigarettes.
Dude.
His voice was so raspy.
I don't know if he went to a concert last night or what was up, but he couldn't talk.
What are they selling? Yeah. They're selling chocolate.
His voice was so raspy that he just like made up for it by going Psycho Randy and just started screaming right away. I was like, damn. Just watch a Snickers commercial. Maybe you need one, bro. But he go, Crown Jewel was only the beginning. I can't do the horse voice. I was gonna try it. It
would hurt. I feel.
He goes, Kevin Owens, get your ass out here right now so I can whoop your ass. And he's cussing and it was bleeping out, but that's all he could get out because of his voice or whatever it was. And when that happens, KO is standing on the stage and he's wearing a KO is right shirt.
Just Kevin is right. I'm like, you know what? That's kind of nice. I like that.
He walks to the ring. They start beating the hell out of each other when Kevin Owens does a forbidden move in the WWE. He pile drives Randy Orton onto his neck. He sells it. I mean, they sell it. They sell it like Randy Orton died here. So they had paramedics come out. Cody Rhodes comes out. They get him on a stretcher. We see them take him all the way to the ambulance. I mean, he killed this man. And that only makes me think it's got to be Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes at Survivor Series, right?
Yeah, we did our prediction video. And we both said, Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton. It just makes sense.
Thank God we already put that one out.
Yeah, we were wrong on that one.
Pop, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to pop it. I like it. But it's also like, and I get it's the forbidden move. I understand that. Yeah. But it's also like, you mentioned it. Randy, you've gone through worse stuff. I mean, hell, you got put through a couple tables, the Crown Jewel, and there he was fine. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
The injury angle makes sense. I like it. I've seen some people talk about maybe Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. What if they're working together? What if this is all just a ploy to get Cody kind of, out there with Kevin Owens, and maybe you get that. That would be something that would be really interesting. We've kind of talked about those two teaming up a little bit, so that would be kind of crazy. There's good stuff. I mean, you get Kevin Owens, you get Randy Orton, you get the little side stuff for Cody Rhodes. Feel bad for that Buffalo crowd. That's all you get to see of Cody Rhodes tonight. No whoa, no music, no nothing.
Yeah, in terms of the pile driver, I do like it. If the move is banned from WWE and you get to use it on extremely rare occasions, do it like this where you make a huge deal out of it. It really does feel like that man got killed. Yep. Like that. One of our Discord guys pointed out that maybe this means when Randy gets back, he may give Kevin Owens a punt. So going to look forward to that. But all in all, we were saying in our predictions video, what is Cody going to do at Survivor Series? This now opens up flat out Kevin Owens, which would be a phenomenal feud. You now have all the reason in the world for Cody to go for him. So I think this is just extremely effective, and Kevin Owens really has some heel heat on him that feels tangible, and like this is going to be a good rivalry for Cody.
Yeah, and like I said, the move being forbidden and the way that they do it. I couldn't tell you the last time I've seen one of those
in
on
WWE.
TV. Yeah, couldn't tell you the last time I saw one on WWE TV. So it makes sense. It's good stuff. You get the crowd even chanting, "We love Orton!" as they're stretchering him off.
Yeah, they were kayfabe as well.
It was all good stuff.
It was a kayfabe crowd. They bought in.
They were all for it.
I love it.
We always talk. We've already done our predictions, so let's just rewind and act like that never happened. So we've got Cody Rhodes probably taking on Kevin Owens at Survivor Series. Why not do it in an ambulance match or something? And then, Randy Orton comes out of the driver's seat and he just, that's how they do it.
Sure.
Why not?
Why not?
Just overbook it.
Screw it.
I'm all for it.
Anyway, speaking of the total opposite, a match that was underbooked, but something here. We got DIY taking on Pretty Deadly.
You had talked about when the Bloodline came out originally. Why is there a disco ball up there?
Yeah,
what's up with the disco ball?
The first shot of SmackDown on the night was like a pan out shot, and there's just this disco ball sitting above the ring. And of course, I don't think about Pretty Deadly for a living, right? And I'm like, what the hell is that disco ball for?
When you said that, I was like, that's probably Pretty Deadly. Well, and then I honestly forgot Pretty Deadly's name. I was like, I don't remember their tag name.
Yeah, anyway, they use a disco ball during their entrance, but Tommaso Ciampa's pissed. I mean, that was the story, the beginning, middle, and end of this 1.5 minute match. But Ciampa comes out stomping an absolute mud hole in Prince, right? And just
walking it dry.
Stone Cold style. And then he throws both of them out of the ring. He throws one of them into a post, takes the other one, I believe it was Prince again, slams his head against the announce table like 40 freaking times, rolls into the ring to break the count, comes back out, throws one of them into the timekeeper's area, takes the other one, throws him against the steel stairs, throws him against the barricade, puts him in the ring. Gargano's like, may I have a tag, please? And Ciampa's like, no, I'm killing him. And then Ciampa hits the fairy tale ending on him. 1, 2, 3. Tommaso Ciampa. They come over. The ref comes over, raises his hands. Ciampa raises his hand in victory, puts it down, leaves. So we're getting ourselves a classic NXT Tommaso Ciampa, it looks like. And while this match was kind of in terms of what they did to Pretty Deadly, I like seeing this from Tommaso, man. This is a Tommaso that I want to see on the main roster.
Yeah, I mean, what better way to utilize Pretty Deadly, right? I mean, you just have him go out there and get beat up. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You've got that NXT fire of Ciampa coming back. You also have a little bit of tension. I mean, obviously, like you said, he didn't tag Gargano in at all.
Yep.
He did it all himself.
Yep.
And then earlier in the night with the Motor City Machine Guns thing, like, there is that tension there. Yep. We'll get to it later on as well. There's more tension. So it's like you've got Ciampa being like, we've got to do what's best for us. I'm going to show you that I'll do anything possible. Like either you fall in line or you don't, which is a great way to get that feud if they would decide they want to turn it again like they always do in NXT multiple times. Sign me up for that too.
It's been long enough to where the NXT feuds feel like really far in the past. Now, the only problem is Gargano doesn't feel anywhere near to the level that he was during their feuds in NXT. But this is a prime, like, we could do this feud and winner gets to go take on LA Knight for the United States title. Like, this would be absolutely perfect. And they're proven. If you want to go watch their NXT matches, if you haven't, go do it. Those matches are fantastic from back in the day. So these two can go, and I'm just down for Ciampa in this way. I'm just down for it.
Yeah, this Ciampa is so much better than like the DX ripoff that they had not too long ago. I mean, I know they kind of rebranded or repackaged a little bit not too long ago, but before that they had that DX ripoff stuff, and that was always like, I don't really care about this.
Yeah,
you get this version of him, it's fantastic, it's awesome. Like you said, I mean, LA Knight didn't have anybody to challenge for. Obviously, you've got a long time between that, but why not? I
completely agree. So I'm popping this, even though it wasn't like very much of a match. I could see why people wouldn't like it per se, but I'm not one of those people.
Well, it's kind of the same thing that they do with, I mean, to a lesser scale, but same thing they did with like Bronson Reed. Yeah. Like you want to establish somebody. Yeah, you want to establish him having this mean streak now. Boom.
Yep, just do it.
Quick and effective.
We get Tiffany Stratton running into Candice LeRae backstage, where she basically just makes fun of Candice LeRae for losing and all that stuff. Because Tiffany's great and she's a bully for no reason. But Nia shows up and she's kind of mad at Tiff. She's like, "Why in the world?" Because they have a match scheduled tonight for taking on Jade and Bianca. Yeah. And Nia's like, "Why did you schedule this? Why are we fighting the women's champions, not for the title?" And Tiff's like, "Because we need to establish ourselves as the best in the women's division." And Nia's like, "I'm champion."
I thought she did. I thought Tiffany had a really good line though. It was, "We'll establish ourselves ahead of Liv and Raquel." I thought that was really subtle, but I didn't catch that. I thought that was really important.
I didn't catch that, but anyway, they kind of go back and forth about that reasoning, and Nia gets talked into it. But during this time, Candice LeRae is basically like, "That's a swell idea, Tiffany," and being sarcastic. And Tiff even shoots back at her like, "Well, you're never going to get on Nia's good side with stuff like that. So we would move it on,
And
though.
then as they went to commercial break, somebody said snake. Was it Corey Graves?
No, Michael Cole called her a snake.
Yeah.
Called Tiffany a snake.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. We get back for commercial break, and that match would take place. Jade and Bianca would take on Nia and Tiffany. We get Tiffany and Jade to start, and Tiffany's talking that smack right away. Jade goes for a big move, but Tiffany reverses it, smacks her in the mouth, and points at Nia and goes, "Ha ha, she's bigger than you." Mm-hmm. And Jade gets mad at that and destroys her until Tiffany eventually does get to tag in Nia, and that would get Nia in the ring with Jade, which was the interesting part about this, right? It's like Jade is, look at her. And then you have Nia, who's the unstoppable force that she is. And they let Nia run her. Honestly, they let the champion and this big woman, strong woman, utilize her size on Jade. And she got the best of her for a lot of the match here. It was not a Jade spot fest. It was Nia getting offense on and Jade having to sell. And I was like, that's exactly what you need to build Nia or keep Nia at this level of champion, especially coming off a loss at Crown Jewel to the other champ, right? Mm-hmm. So that was real good stuff. But eventually Jade would suplex Nia. She would reverse Nia's suplex into her own suplex. She would hot tag Bianca. Nia would hot tag Tiff, and they would absolutely go at it. But Bianca would whoop her ass because that's what Bianca does.
Yeah,
and she's amazing at it.
Yeah.
But so she's doing but Bianca does all her comeback stuff, and it's great. But eventually we would get a tag back to Nia, and it would be Nia and Bianca. Bianca would go for a KOD, but she couldn't get Nia up. Like back in the WWE 2K or WWE Smackdown vs. Raw days when you couldn't pick them up.
Yep, not enough strength.
Not enough strength. But that would lead to Nia re-tagging Tiffany in, and they would do, Nia and Tiffany would blockbuster Bianca. They do the blockbuster, the tag team move to Bianca. Jade would break up that pin. And then we get another Jade and Nia stare down. Match would continue. We get Tiff and Bianca back in the ring. Bianca would spear Tiffany because that's like her move now. It's like a move she does now.
Yeah, it was an interesting spear too. It was like a shoulder tackle basically. But they said spear.
Yeah, when this happens, Nia pops up on the ring apron for some reason. And we're like, what the hell? And she's distracting the ref, yelling at the ref. And Bianca's on the top turnbuckle. Candice LeRae out of nowhere. She's there to push Bianca off the top rope, leading to Tiffany getting a good old stomp. But instead of Tiffany taking advantage of the moment, she's just pissed that Candice LeRae is there. I don't need your help. She's screaming at her. Why are you here?
Yeah, she's screaming at Candice LeRae, and I'm on the couch screaming at Tiffany.
Yeah, He was.
Get on the top rope.
He was very excited for Tiffany to pin Bianca. But when that happens, Naomi runs out to attack Candice LeRae. And when Naomi runs out, Nia comes over to attack Naomi.
Destroys Naomi.
Everything's going crazy. Meanwhile, Bianca is able to get Tiffany into a KOD. 1, 2, 3. Bianca and Jade win this match. This was a ton of fun. I'm popping it.
Yeah, the match itself was fun.
Yeah.
You got the stuff at the end was fun. It was all good stuff. Everybody looked good here. You had the Jade stuff, which I thought was interesting to your point. Like, it wasn't just a Jade spot fest at that point, right?
Yeah.
It was, hey, you're going to, like, basically go up against the champ. You're going to show that you're not there yet, and you're going to have to sell, which I think is huge for Jade.
Completely agree.
As for Bianca kind of getting the upper hand on Tiffany, at least, like, you have Tiffany be that, like, kind of weaker, I guess how I want to say it, tag partner to the champ.
Yep.
She's going to take the offense. Champ's dominating. You still have towards the end, like, the Tiffany stuff. Tiffany once again gets in her way. She costs Nia now. It was her idea. You've got Candice LeRae there, who I guess had a reason to be out there. You know what I mean? She's trying to be buddy-buddy with Nia as well.
Yeah.
You got the Naomi stuff. Like, we're all slowly setting up for like the War Games stuff.
Yeah, War Games stuff. And is that going to end up being the plan? Is Candice LeRae going to replace Tiffany Stratton as Nia's left-hand woman?
I think eventually.
Yeah.
I think you have maybe the War Games match kind of be that deciding kind of tipping point where maybe Tiffany does something. Tiffany costs Team Nia the win. And then you've got her just being like, okay, I don't need you. I've got Candice LeRae. You got Tiffany, maybe Candice LeRae have to feud a little bit, not like don't drag that out. And then boom, that's how you get Tiffany and Nia.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be 100% down with it because Candice LeRae, obviously, now that Indy Hartwell is unfortunately gone, she needs something, and she's great. And being involved with Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax now, who are kind of owning the women's division on the SmackDown side, whose names aren't Jade and Bianca, that's a good place for your name to be. So I'd be happy to see Candice LeRae get that spot. It would be real interesting. Can't wait for War Games, though.
Yeah, and they obviously didn't announce anything yet, but that's where we think that they're going.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I couldn't be more excited.
Yeah.
There's so many storylines and threads of, like, Nia feuded with this person, and Tiffany helped her, but then Tiffany can't do that, and just Jade, Bianca, like, there's so much that goes into it.
It's just drama with some wrestling. Anyway, we would get another tag team match here. We get 8 Down Under taking on the Motor City Machine Guns. And this match was something. We got the Motor City Machine Guns. They'd be working Austin Theory early until Waller would be able to get in and get over some work onto Sabin. We would get a Shelley tag in, and when they did this, Sabin would basically just do all their Motor City Machine Gun tag team specials. They're freaking awesome when they're in the ring together, especially when they're clicking and just tagging each other in and out. It's real good stuff. But eventually, Shelley would be on the top rope attacking Waller, and Theory would hop up on the apron, and Shelley would jump off the top rope and hit Theory off the apron, and they both go stumbling down. And Shelley would get up, tweaked his knee. Knee didn't feel too good. And that meant what? That meant commercial time. It meant commercial time, and the entire commercial, Shelley's getting whooped over. And then we come back from commercial, Shelley's getting worked over, and they go into a picture-in-picture.
Yeah, right away.
Right away. From commercial.
Yeah.
They go into a picture-in-picture commercial. The hell you doing, WWE? Oh, Lord.
I don't know. We talked about that months ago, and I brought it up, and I said, I know they're never going to stop doing this. And you're like, yeah, it is kind of annoying, though. And I feel like they just keep making it worse.
Well, they've never done it directly after a commercial. I was like, what, you went from commercial to give me commercial? It was weird. But anyway, so Waller and Theory were getting good strong minutes here, right? Just because Motor City Machine Gun walked in, got the tag titles, doesn't mean they can just come in and whoop everybody's butts. So you give A-Town Down Under a lot of solid minutes here. But all the good stuff would happen toward the end. Theory would have Sabin in the ring when Waller would take out Shelley on the outside, then turn around, roll into the ring. He would actually hit his roll-up flatliner for once, which is great. We love that move. And it was kind of turning into the Three Amigos with Dom, where he wouldn't hit it. Anyway, Waller would then go for an elbow drop, a springboard elbow drop. He would miss, and that would leave time for Motor City Machine Guns to get the tag in, hit the skull and bones. 1, 2, 3, Motor City Machine Guns win. Nothing to write home about. More screen time for Motor City Machine Guns to get the casual audience and introduced to them. This is all good stuff. I'll pop.
Yeah, I guess I was kind of... I mean, I didn't expect a squash match. I'm going to pop it as well. But I didn't expect a squash match. But I was kind of surprised at how much time they gave it. Not because both tag teams can't work, but we've seen that.
Yeah.
It was more so like, I don't know, Grayson, Waller, and Theory. Like, I feel like they have just been on that constant losing streak, right? Nothing to really kind of like establish them. And so you can pencil them in with anybody, obviously. And that's what they did here. Thought it was great. You made a great point that Motor City Machine Guns, you can tell in the matches that the crowd hasn't really resonated with them yet. They haven't been able to click yet. So to your point, I think it's a great job by WWE. Give them more time, see how exciting they are, see how fast paced they are, how well they can work together. Like you said, nothing to really write home about, but just another solid Motor City Machine Gun outing. And Waller in Theory, unfortunately they take another loss, but they look good in it.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
That's what they do.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what they do. They look great. They're funny. They're heels, and they lose. Whatever. Yep.
And nobody's stock rises. Nobody's stock ever rises when you beat Waller in Theory. It's just like, you guys were once champs.
At least they put on good matches, right? They're not just getting clowned.
Yeah.
But right after this match, we would go to the backstage, and Motor City Machine Guns are backstage, and DIY would call them out, but Street Profits were quickly there to say, no, we already got next. In fact, it's already official. Nick Aldis made it official. We facing them next week for the tag titles. Street Profits versus Motor City Machine Guns. Yeah, sign me the hell up.
Sign me up.
Have DIY screw them.
It is important at that time to note that Ciampa is pissed.
Yeah, he's mad.
He's like, you see Gargano? You see? Everybody else wants to take these. You don't want to take them.
You're kissing their ass while everybody else is trying to get those titles. So stop. Yeah.
And I think it's really important too. Like we had the Street Profits and DIY and like that triple threat or qualifying or whatever. Yeah. There was kind of that weird like wonky finish, and everybody was like, "Oh, what does this mean?" or
They
whatever.
both won. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got that still there in the back of their mind. So yeah, have DIY do that. I do feel bad for the Street Profits. As much as that match is going to slap, as great as that's going to be, it's going to be 5 stars. Give it half an hour. I don't care. They're going to take another loss, and that sucks to say.
Not true. Montez Ford stacks them both, pins them both. He's a goat. All right, we move on to, we had 2 Bloodline segments that were long and absolutely wonderful, but they weren't the best part of the night because it was real quick. Nick Aldis makes the announcement that finally we are getting a women's mid-card title on SmackDown. The United States Women's Championship has been revealed. Cannot be happier, but the question is there, who should be the first to win it?
It's got to be Chelsea Green.
Ooh.
It has to be.
Got to be.
Or else I riot. You know, I flip the table over, I storm out. It's got to be Chelsea Green. We talk about, you know, all the time, women need mid-card titles. We've been talking about it for months and months and months. WWE has kind of hinted at it online for months and months. That's a perfect person to pick up that title, take that title, run with it. It's going to be fantastic. They need to do it right. The belt looks amazing.
Oh my God.
Obviously, now you have the other side. Raw's going to counter with a IC women's title. I assume probably Lyra Valkyria wins that one. Sign me up for that. Now we understand. Earlier in the day, it was kind of announced that SmackDown and Raw, when they go to Netflix, both 3 hours. That's what this needs.
100%. 100%. This is going to be wonderful. And I'm completely 100% with you. If I had to put all my money down, Chelsea Green got to be the one to get that thing. The argument could be made for Naomi. The only issue I have with that is that she has gotten title matches as of late, including one next week on SmackDown. So like, there's a dynamic there where I think she is in the main card title now, while Chelsea can lead the mid card title, right? I don't believe Chelsea can take on Nia and beat her. So have Chelsea be the leader of the mid card.
That might be the first match. Because you do have Naomi, like, she can't get the title off of Nia, so she's maybe like a tweener, right?
Yeah.
Upper mid-card, lower main event scene, kind of like how maybe like Chris Jericho back in the day was, right? You could have that. You could have her kind of go back and forth. She's beaten Nia before, so she has that claim. You could instantly insert her into that match and say, hey, like, she has a right to be here. And then, you know, Chelsea Green, that's a fan favorite. I assume they'll do some tournament. That just seems pretty likely. They didn't really give any details when that starts, any of that stuff, but couldn't be happier. Exciting. Like I keep saying, the belt looks amazing. It's just awesome.
U.S. title, Chelsea Green. If they do an IC, Lyra Valkyria, let's get this thing running. Let the good times roll. So happy they're doing it. Pops all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know anybody that would dislike that. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, and the white strap. We may have to add that, man. It might be the first women's belt on the wall because that thing looks clean.
We're gonna have to.
Anyway,
it's better than the men's U.S. title.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we would get our main event segment of the day. It was the Bloodline official tribal chief acknowledgement ceremony for Mr. Solo Sikoa.
It's a lot to say.
He'd come out with the Ulafala with a gold chain under it. I mean, he's got whatever you say about Solo, he's got some aura to him now. I mean, he's got the turtleneck with the. I mean, he looks good, man.
And he always wears the gloves.
Always the gloves.
I always like the glove touch.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
They're nice. Anyway, he'd come out and he'd go, Buffalo, there's only one way to start this. Acknowledge me. And when he did that, the OG comes out. Roman Reigns, he comes out to the ring. He's not happy. That's his line. He's supposed to say that, not you. That's real mean. He comes out and he goes, it's good to see you. Because I was wanting to make sure that before they acknowledge me, you acknowledge me. And, or he said, you need to acknowledge me as your undisputed tribal chief. And Roman goes, Buffalo, do you acknowledge him? And of course, the whole crowd says, yes, Roman, we do. No, they were all booing. And then he goes, well, neither do I. Neither do I. I won't ever acknowledge you. I'm here to challenge you. 1-on-1. Winner is the only tribal chief. And Solo starts cracking up. Disrespectful.
This is, before we get into like anything else, I just want to take a second. The way that you see Solo now, the confidence, I got tickets and the laughing and just all of this like goofy, funny Solo stuff is amazing.
He's so good. He's so good now. He starts laughing. He goes, I don't need to fight you. That's what he says. He goes, that is already me. I'm already the only tribal chief. He goes, in case you didn't notice, everybody already knows that. He goes, you can't be a tribal chief for one because you ain't got no tribe. Because Roman came out alone. He's sitting there and Roman's like, damn, I am in this ring alone. And he goes,
fair point especially after the night, the beginning of the night.
And then the line drops. He goes, you know what? Let me challenge you. You go get 4 other guys that will team up with you and go to war. And Roman's like, are you talking about war games? Like war games? He's like, you don't even have 5 people. You don't even have four others. And Solo goes, oh, I don't? And he starts counting. He goes, 1, and Tama Tonga, 2, Tonga Loa, 3, Jacob Fatu. Points to himself. He says 4. And then he goes, and 5, your boy Sami Zayn. And when that happens, Sami walks out to the stage. And the crowd's going wild. Like, oh no, what the hell?
Yeah. Minds are blown. The roof is blown off of this place. I mean, we were screaming like that was awesome.
I was so happy,
so excited,
so happy.
Yeah.
And when Roman turns around to check out Sami on the stage, Sami's giving him those puppy dog eyes. Those sad eyes. And Bloodline 2.0 just attacks Roman. They start beating the hell out of him. And when they start beating the hell out of Roman, Jimmy and Jay, they come storming out. They run right past Sami. And they try to beat up everybody. But they have a Jacob Fatu who's pretty good at what he does here. And so he goes to the outside. He starts kicking the hell out of Jay and Jimmy. I think he throws one on the announce table. He destroys them both, basically. But they get to the point where they're in the ring. And Solo has Roman by the back of his hair about to spike him. And before he spikes him, he turns to Sami and he goes, Sami, come here. And Sami gets in the ring, he goes in the corner, and Solo is just begging him, kick him in the face, Sami, for all he's done for you. He's listing all these reasons. And Sami looks angry. He looks ready to go. And Sami goes for the haluva kick and haluva kick Solo. I was like, no.
All the excitement I had just went.
All the dream, all my dream goes. Absolutely terrible. But so he haluva kicks Solo Sikoa. Roman immediately Superman punches him. And then Jacob Fatu comes in the ring. Sami moves out of the way. Roman Superman punches Fatu. Sami haluva kicks Fatu. And then Roman loads up a spear in the corner. Good old spears Solo Sikoa. They all roll out of the ring, the OG Bloodline. And then we got just the 4 OG members in the ring. We have Jay, Sami, and Roman are kind of looking at each other, staring each other down. And Jay and Jimmy raised the ones.
Yeah, Jay, most importantly, he was the first one.
Was Jay the first?
Jay was the first one. Jay took a step forward and I noticed this too when he came out. Like he wasn't in like his blue.
Red.
Yeah, he was in his red. He wasn't in like the blue.
Yeah, the red bloodline.
Yeah. So I was like, as soon as you see the difference right away, So he takes that step forward.
Yeah, so Jay takes the first step forward. He throws up a 1. Jimmy follows suit right away. And then some time passes and Sami and Roman are staring eye to eye. And then Sami throws up the 1. And then Roman sits there and he turns. He's got to face the hard cam. And he throws up the 1. The original Bloodline has reunited on SmackDown. And while I absolutely hate that Sami didn't full turn heel here and I was so excited and I really want to drop that part, the whole segment was so freaking good. I have to pop it. I'm popping it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this. Even as you're talking about it right now, I mean, we're just 2 random people to talk about it on a podcast.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting chills about it because it's so good to just have that feeling back.
Yeah.
The OG members are finally back together. Earlier in the night, there's obviously, tension, right? They have issues with each other. Those issues aren't going to go unsolved or they're not going to not address them again, right? Like they have to address all those issues. But for this right here, it just feels amazing. It feels so good to have it back. The gang's back together. They're going to fight Bloodline 2.0. I cannot be more excited.
When Solo said that Sami Zayn was going to be his War Games member, I got so excited. And when Sami haluva kicked Solo, my heart kind of was like, oh, dang it. But then when they all raised the 1s at the end, I mean, if you're a person that's been watching this story for years and years now, how could you hate it? I was smiling ear to ear. I was just like, damn, the gang is back together. We about to go to war. War Games, Bloodline 1 versus Bloodline 2. This is everything we wanted. Everything that we wanted to see since after WrestleMania this year. could not be more excited.
Yeah, it does raise some questions, though, to your point. Like, Roman just trashed Sami earlier in the night. And, Sami's, like he said, he's there for Jay. He's there for Jay. And so I guess that's why, right? Jay is the one that went ahead first and was like, okay, we're going to do this together. And so that's why you can have Sami, like, that could be your answer there. But you still have to have Roman give some sort of ego check, I guess is the best way to describe it.
No, yeah.
Right? You got to check it at the door. We got to see it on TV. The only thing missing, we're missing the wise man. So as soon as that wise man comes back, man, the full gang is back together. We get this tonight. How could you not?
We're not only missing the wise man, though. I still think we need an actual Roman apology because as much as these guys are coming together just because like kind of nostalgia and group hate on the new bloodline, and that does make sense. Like they're copycat frauds who are trying to be us. Like let's destroy this. Like Roman did do ungodly things to these people, like especially Jay and Sami. Like he needs to apologize. So like you said, there's still going to be tension there, and that's going to be that's going to be slowly ripping them apart at times throughout this next few weeks and even into War Games, and we'll probably see it at War Games. So.
Yeah, we'll see it, and that's what I mean, kind of by the ego check, right? You got to check it at the door. Maybe that's what we get to start out SmackDown next week. Maybe we get that. Maybe we see the tension still go on into War Games. You and I both have our opinion on War Games. Don't think it's going to end at War Games, so you're still probably going to get some sort of tension here or there. Going past that potentially, if they decide
this ain't ending till Mania.
Ain't ending, but God, does this feel good? You got to get, you get chills talking about it. You get chills watching it. I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that good.
It was absolutely phenomenal. And speaking of phenomenal, we gave this episode of SmackDown a hard pop. 14 pops to 2 drops. I'm going to start listing it because my little meter's gone for the time being. It'll return, but life gets busy, all right? I'm editing and trying to be good here. But anyway, follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. Listen to us wherever you get your podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, etc. We have a Discord. We love talking to everybody tonight. Everybody was excited about that episode of SmackDown. It's in the link tree in our bio. It's got all of our socials. Go ahead and follow all of our socials, comment, like, all that stuff. We love talking to you guys. But anyway, I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast, and we will see you next time.